What's going on, guys? Welcome back to I'm Trying, Dude, with Daniel, Victor, and myself, Marcel Flores. Today we're going to talk about what happened recently, and as always, we're going to try and keep things light while going deep. Do you like that?
That
was a good
That
intro.
Hey, that's
This
a
is
solid intro.
the first time we actually did a proper intro. Isn't that nice?
Hell yeah, dude.
Like, fuck yeah. Yeah, that's our handshake.
That's
Please
for the
don't
video.
judge.
You guys can't even see
Yep.
that.
YouTube only. Man, how's it going? How's your week?
Dude, it's been a solid week. I got back
Yeah.
from Poland. I think we touched on that a little bit last episode.
Oh, yeah,
but
right.
coming back it's cool. I feel like I'm back on the grind. I feel a little, to be completely honest, physically not 100%. I think I had a dream that I like tweaked my neck lifting, which is like such a stupid bro-y dream. Like, I was lifting some heavy weight and I won.
Tight.
And then I woke up and my neck was completely jeffed up. So
But were you also like a little? Did you have like a little post-workout kind of like glow?
No.
Or just you just?
No, I just remember
You
being
just look slower.
stressed in my dream, like and then I heard like and I woke up and was like, oh, not again. Dude, I feel like
Dude, it's the
all the time.
worst.
It's the
And you
freaking
like
worst.
it's already done, and then no matter how much you stretch, massage, move, like it's 3 days of pain. It's
laid
just
on a lacrosse ball last night for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And tried to get, and it's still like nothing. Like, I
mean,
feel a little better. Like
I
I
feel
can
like
move left
it's
and right.
not like an inflamed nerve type thing where like at that point it's just too late. Like even if you relax the muscle around it, like the nerve is already like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt.
Once you cross the threshold, you can't. It's tough. You just gotta
Dude,
let it ride out.
I think you actually got in my head because last night I had the same thing. I was like, I feel like I moved around. I was like, shit, I just moved something, and it felt like it almost was a pop. I'm like, don't pull it down right now. Don't do that. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Have you ever? Do you know that like study where people that think about working out actually are gaining muscle?
I have. Yeah.
Isn't
like,
that
it's like
crazy?
mind-muscle connection to
Yeah.
the nth power.
But
which
like,
is,
but to a degree, it's something unbelievably high. I think that the control group that was just thinking, like deeply meditating about what it would feel like to work out, had like 40% of the same results of people that were actually, like, it was like a small hand muscle thing, but like 40% of the same muscle growth that the people had that were actually doing it. Like you could
That's
actually get jacked
wild.
in your meditation. Isn't that crazy?
that's awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
You don't need a gym membership anymore.
You don't
just
need
gotta-
it.
All you gotta do is
Screw
think,
it.
think about going to the gym really hard, and you'll get
But
jacked.
yeah, I think that'd be nice. Have you been working out? Like, is like because you flew back in?
Yes.
Is that like a part of your like straight back to the routine?
Yeah, dude. I feel like I feel my best when I've been exercising, especially because I've been training for the New York City Marathon. I'm running it again this year, so if I'm not yesterday I went out to try to loosen things up a little bit, just like a light, like 6 and change.
Also, just a quick note, like we're in the past now. You'll have already run the marathon.
Oh yeah.
2 days after we dropped episode 1, so last week.
Hell
like,
yeah.
So yeah, we're at some point we're gonna have to. We're doing this a little bit to like get ahead of ourselves, make sure that we're doing this and we're pre-producing,
Right.
which I know is hurting the flow maybe a tiny bit because honestly, congratulations on finishing first.
Oh, dude, yeah. It was when I won the marathon, crazy.
Sub
crazy.
2?
And no
Wild.
one's gonna
Like,
mention it. No one's
no
gonna
one's
mention it. They
one's
leave it
gonna
all.
talk about
They
it.
leave it all out of major
all-
like publications.
the media cycle,
It's
man.
crazy. It's
They
crazy.
control all of
They
us.
don't want me to win. It's it every time.
No, Braun boy,
Yeah.
not you.
Yeah, dude, sorry. Sit down. How was
yeah.
your week, dude?
It was awesome. It was a lot.
Okay.
So the beauty of what we do is we get invited to free dinners and cool events and shit. But
Absolutely.
the downside is you're out a lot, like so much. And I've turned into a homebody. I'm 33 now.
Really?
Fuck you. You know. Don't make that a point. You're 30 now. Literally, you
I
turned
know.
30 this year.
I know,
Shut
I
the fuck up. No, I feel like okay, good. I do appreciate. I like going out, but on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, I'm like, and now I'm in Jersey City, so it's a hike to
Yeah.
get in. Like, and of course, one of the things was like by Bryant Park, way uptown, and the next one was by Central Park. I'm like, okay, so I'm just traveling for hours. But it was really nice. On Wednesday, I went to a Hexclad dinner.
Hexclad, like the
Hexclad, the-
cookware?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, which. What a great evening! Like
Yeah?
lovely people, like genuinely like wonderful conversation, fantastic food by Paul Ainsbury. He's Gordon Ramsay's protege. Apparently one of the
Ooh.
best cooks in the UK, like the world. I have this cookbook somewhere here. They also do knives, so I got a really, really, really pretty Hexclad Damascus steel knife.
Oh.
67 layers. I normally prefer 68, but I'll settle for the
You said
67. And I feel like I can't even fully. I wish you were there because I don't know if y'all know this because we definitely haven't told you. We've done a mediocre job at introducing
Pretty
ourselves.
bad,
I
pretty
feel.
bad, pretty bad.
But Dan's also a chef.
Yeah. So chef loosely. I'm an enthusiastic
A home chef.
cook. Yeah.
But
I know my way around the kitchen.
and you've been on cooking, like YouTube channel cooking show type
Yes.
things, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like you need to show me how to like properly maneuver this knife.
Oh, dude, absolutely. It's fun. I think it's definitely something that's it's enjoyable as you continue to learn and get better at it. I think cooking for a lot is stressful because they're like, oh, you don't know, and
Yeah.
But once you get like the handle on some basic stuff, it's like the easiest, most like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
so
very cathartic.
And I get that, and I'm getting there because Clara has been a big impact on me just cooking more, and I've as part of me slowing down and like using your time, I guess, a bit more purposefully. Cooking is one of those things. I used to be like order in only, like order in for
really?
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, there was literally a time, I think, without exaggerating, where I wouldn't have cooked for like 4 years straight.
What?
Mine is like making a salad, like that's
Yeah.
a cucumber salad with a can of tuna and some mayo in it.
Expensive. I can't. Like,
Yeah, it was not great. So now I'm appreciating the process because I was like, no, I'm hustling, I'm doing this, like every minute counts type thing. We touched on that in episode 1 a bit too. And now it's like, okay, I want to enjoy this process. And I had a lot of conversations with it was cool, like to not just be around our fashion friends, but to be around people from another industry. And I met a quick homie that I made, Matt, who also will have run the marathon with you.
Yeah.
when the time this is
He
up.
didn't win, but we
great
can't
dude.
all win.
Second is great
Yeah,
though.
so he was
just
great.
an hour later, wild. You were so fast.
Love that.
But he founded Pepper, which is like connects home chefs with one another to share recipes. Super dope app. Hopped on that. Anyway, so there's this whole idea of like taking time to cook yourself, to like prepare something. But I think here's where a lot of people fuck up. It's like we get hangry, right? Like we're hungry.
Oh.
You start building this thing. You have this idea of what you're gonna cook, and then you're going off of a cookbook that's like beautiful, and you know it's delicious just by looking at it. And then you have like a pile of trash on your plate that doesn't taste half as good as what you imagine.
Right.
I think it's very discouraging. Did you have that? Like, were you just straight up talented, or were you a little?
No, I mean, I learned how to cook from watching my mom in the kitchen. It was always like my mom was always cooking in the kitchen, and it was like okay, if you want to eat, you're gonna help me.
Was it
cook.
a poor household? Do you not have a TV or?
We were struggling so much that my form of entertainment was getting yelled
Yeah,
at
mom.
by my mom.
Get
in
it,
the
mom.
kitchen.
Oh yeah, slice it nice.
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 Because she would like she cooked like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think she was
What?
like in there cooking
Amazing, dude.
everything. So especially come like holidays, she would be prepping stuff for the entire family. Like we have a huge family on my dad's side. It's like he's got 7. He's one of 7. So when we'd host Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, we'd have like 20, 30, 40 people at the house. And my mom would cook these like insanely elaborate meals. So she would want help in the kitchen. My dad doesn't really cook that much.
Yeah, right.
My sister was too young, or I don't know. She doesn't really like cooking either. So my mom would call me in, and I learned from watching her. So I think like having that background definitely helped to where even if it looked like not appetizing or like sludge or whatever, it tasted pretty good.
Yeah, okay, tight. And I think because I think the really discouraging feeling is like I'm so hungry right now. I put all this work in.
Yeah.
I ate, and it didn't taste good. And then you got to do the dishes.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like the little cherry on top. It was like a little middle finger to you. Like, fuck you. Don't ever try this again. You're
Have
shit.
you seen the meme where it's like I could spend $50 and order Thai food, or I could spend $100 on the ingredients and make shittier Thai food.
New York is a wild place.
That's like
it's
what-
not
it's like-
even wrong. Like, that's not even an exaggeration.
No, it's almost
crazy.
cheaper to order out now. I feel like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say double it, twice as expensive to like. It also depends on where you go. Can we like how is Trader Joe's still so affordable?
Dude,
I don't know
I
how like compared to anything else.
Trader Joe's.
Dude, Trader Jose
Trader
is my Trader Giotto. He's my dude. Like,
they figured it out.
what? How?
Produce is okay sometimes. Have you ever had the packs of dried mango from Trader Joe's?
I think we have like 3 in the pantry right now.
Oh yeah, dude. Really? Do you?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I know what I'm doing after this.
Unless Clara plowed through them.
I plow through. Dude,
no,
I
that's
bought
a one
one
serving-
yesterday. It
that's
was
a one
done.
serving thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always. And I fill bags and look at the serving size, and it's like, okay, there's 4.2 servings in here each, and I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm not gonna house this on the train, but shut up, dude.
Serving size is also like for me. There's like it's a bar of chocolate. Like yes, you can break it into pieces, but that's just so I can eat it more easily,
but
not
where's
so
the
I can
fun?
eat it in like several steps. Right? Like that's not a. I have this very. I think I'm so lucky genetically, because like I eat like a fucking like a bulldozer. I will run through a whole thing of something, and I just don't gain weight. Like I think I
What
really
a
I have
life.
it's just, I'm like,
One of those guys.
hear me lamenting about this.
I just
and like,
don't know. I could just eat whatever I want.
somehow I'm
I
getting
don't-
more
I-
shredded.
Oh
I'm
my
like-
god, and my abs just get even more defined. Must be nice, dude.
So I asked before, you go straight back into your routine of working out when you land back
Yes.
here, and it's actually something I want to dive into a little bit with you.
Hit
Like
me.
you used to be a bigger guy,
Yes.
right? And it's the way you look now. Fucking like you actually worked for it. Like people compliment me, I'm like literally don't.
Please stop.
Please stop.
Please
I
stop.
feel so bad. I have worked out a good bit in my life, and a lot of it's just like residual. But like, there's no reason I should look the way I look with how little I do.
Okay.
You fucking work for it, and like, it's obviously it's something that's. I weirdly am jealous of you in a way, that you have a reason to work out, like a motivation. That's like you want to look a certain type of way, but the mental health benefits that come from like regular exercise and like your consistency and your determination when it comes for training for the marathon that you will have already finished first and it worked out so well
Crazy.
is wild to me. I think that's something like I know a lot of people, I get this a lot, but it's something like, oh yeah, shut the fuck up, you look good, so it's fine. What if it's not about the looks? What if the looks is a motivation for something, for a goal that's actually a lot more important, which is your health, mentally and physically? I don't know that I have a question, but like I just want to say, fucking cool, dude.
Well, thanks,
like,
man. Well, it's funny that you say that. I feel like a lot of the reason initially why I was working out so hard was to get people to like me and like to fill that part of me that was never like good enough looking or like, you know, athletic enough, or I never had like the six pack growing up, and I was you know, reminded of that all the time. So I feel like it just recently, through a lot of therapy, the switch flipped where. And it was fun. I always used to make this joke where it's like, dude, like, what do you do at the gym? Like, I'm like, oh, dude, I don't even listen to music. I just have all the negative feedback that I've ever heard in my life going on in my head, and that fuels me. That fuels my workouts. I wake up,
that sounds
I hear
very
all
healthy.
the hate that I've ever heard in my life, and I go to
no.
the gym, and I'm like, we're killing these demons
killing-
one chest press at a time.
damn,
you
but
know?
you're keeping the trauma alive actively.
That was the thing.
That's
it's like,
crazy.
dude. Yeah, and that was like my joke. My therapist was like, "Well, let's talk about that. Why? Like,
I'd really rather
it
not.
shouldn't. Like, why are you like that? Shouldn't be your MO. Is like that negative feedback loop, because then it's like you're working out to please other people and not for yourself. So now I think recently, the last month or two, it's a very recent, maybe obviously even 3 months, that it's the switch is flipped to where it feels like self-care now. It feels like something I'm doing for myself because I actively enjoy it, as opposed to trying to prove to others that I am worthy, and I'm competing against everyone, and it's all a comparison game. And like, it's I love the gym now. I've always been like an avid gym goer, but I think initially having that bit of like trauma and insecurity sparked my need to go to the gym, and now instead of it being like a need, it's more of like an active want, an active self-care.
Isn't that fucking crazy? Didn't we just talk about that last episode? Like how I started my fashion career also from like a trauma standpoint.
Yeah.
Like to, I think that's something that's maybe very important to like realize, that for one, we all have our trauma, but two, it's okay that we have it. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh shit, like I got all this baggage, and like I don't want to go into another relationship. I don't want to have any kids before I resolve all of my trauma. But to just maybe start seeing it as something more matter-of-factly rather than like intrinsically negative. That is like, okay, good, I have this trauma, but it's also making me do good things. And then I also still have like, you built a whole habit, a whole lifestyle. Like you get up, I know you get up early, and then you first thing you do is work out. You built a whole lifestyle around this that now is serving you, and you've dissociated it from the negative feelings that you used to have. So like,
It takes a long time, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, you did the same thing. Like now you've built your career off of this thing that initially started with trauma.
Yeah, that's
How
what I'm saying.
was
I
that
said,
for
right.
you? Like, what was the?
I mean, the same shit. Like, I guess you don't really know while you're in it. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna show all these people, right? But then for me with fashion, it was like I wanted to give guys the feeling of self-confidence that they that fashion gave me, and now I'm left with. Literally, this podcast is a result of me having resolved my trauma. Now, it's not just about how you present yourself outward. It's not just about that emotional armor that you put on that's clothing, but it's actually about giving another person a different view on themselves. But because I resolved the trauma too, it's kind of like, okay, good, I can move away from fashion a little bit and I can dive deeper, because my purpose with my blog always has been so much more than just like, oh, look good. Do you know what I mean? It's always been about feel good. And I'm so happy that we're doing this now, where it's like entirely focused on feel good. Like, be you, do you.
Crazy though. I feel like as you've grown and continued to learn more about yourself, like your relationship to yourself has improved enough to now where you kind of like pour back into your own life a bit, and it's not just like
like
solely about proving someone wrong.
My purpose has always kind of been there, but it's become more pure the way I go about it in a way. It's like the relationship with myself has become a lot, like even with myself, like, because, you know, we get into our heads about what other people think about us, but it doesn't really matter what other people think about us. It's the fact that we then think, oh shit, maybe they're right? Like, it's not their thing. It's what then happens to our thoughts.
Do you feel like you carry that into your current relationship with your girlfriend? Or like what, like how do you keep that healthy? Was it always healthy? Is it something you're actively working on, or like how?
No. It definitely is by far the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. And I think it's something that we still do, and the way it started is just pure honesty. And I think it's similar to like how you got to be with yourself. A lot of the stuff that I knew I was doing it, I was like, yeah, I was lying to myself a little bit to get to that place. And I feel like sometimes we do that with our partners too. We think we need to present ourselves in a certain type of way, be something that we're truly not, especially when we're first dating. Rather than showing up as yourself, like, okay, I make a lot of money, look at me, like, be with me. drive a cool car, I work out, like, I'm good looking, I'm all of this. But like, all that matters is like, this is who I am. Do you fuck with that or no, right?
Yeah.
And I know we luckily noticed very, very early on, like, we just fuck with each other. Like, we were being ourselves. There was not a whole lot at stake. Like, this, we didn't set out to become something, really. We were like, okay, this is, you know, we like hanging out, so let's keep it at that for now. And because there was no pressure, it was very easy to just be open, the same way you and I have very honest conversations. It was just easy because there was nothing much at stake yet. We were just getting to know each other. So like, if you didn't fuck with something I said, then you could have just been like, all right, cool. Don't love that.
Right.
But I think if everybody approached dating and relationships that way, where it's like, just tell them how you feel, because 99% of the time it's worse in your head. Two, it's definitely going to get worse if you don't say it without, you know, it's got to come out eventually. And so I'd rather go with the truth than laugh now and cry later.
So you think that honesty is part of the reason why this is the healthiest relationship that you've ever been in?
It is the reason why.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And you led with that, like, out of the gate, opened up. You're like, okay.
Yeah,
I
literally,
just
like
doesn't matter if she likes it.
Done, thought, said, and obviously acknowledging that, like, I know where my fault was and that I'm trying to be a better person, because like, we all fuck up. Like, it's just a fucking fact. Especially men are so conditioned to like, I fucked up. No, I didn't. No, I meant to do that. Yeah. I'm a real man. What do you mean? Okay. So real quick story on that. We talked about lying in episode 0.
Yeah.
And honestly, even just that bit, I think is actually worth going back to. Signing up for the email list, thank you, and going back to episode 0. When I was in the Hamptons for HEF, very cool, very rich. When I was in the Hamptons, I was driving, and I pride myself on being good with navigation.
Okay.
It was dark, and we were driving in 2 cars. And the first night that we got, the turn into the hotel is quite well hidden. Like, it's dark, you can't really see it. And the first night, the other car just drove past it, and I got it. And I felt like really good about myself.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I almost drove past it, but the other car was behind me, and they gave me a light honk, and I pulled in. I literally, I had to kind of step on the brakes and pulled in. And in my head, I played it off as like, yeah, no, I wasn't gonna miss that. Immediately, like, I was gonna act like that towards Clara, and it's these small little fucking toxic decisions that you make for yourself. I was like, why? Like, you don't have to be perfect. I'm like, and then I was like, literally, I noticed it. I was like, it feels weird. And I didn't even speak about it. It's something that's entirely happened in my head. But I think it's important to just have these conversations with yourself as well. Whereas, like, okay, like, if somebody asks right now, or if somebody points it out, if somebody even pays attention to the same shit that you are, like, because most people don't care about that, right? But if somebody's like, oh, you were going to miss it, I would have owned it right? Where I was like, yeah, thank you, like for having my back. Like it just situation dissolved quickly after that. But yeah, I think honesty with yourself and with yourself first, and consequently with your partners. I think the arguably the most important thing I do in our relationship.
That's a
Is
good point. I
is
feel
there
like
something that you
well
you
before I get
employ?
into that, I will say
Okay.
I picked up on something that the honesty with others is huge, and the impulse to lie. Where I feel like I used to do that a lot in social situations too. And I don't know if we covered this already in episode 0, maybe, but if you're out with somebody and like, oh, have you seen the new, or you know who this person is, right?
Right.
And I could completely be like, absolutely not a clue.
Right.
But I'll be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We did speak of this. In
Okay,
episode
cool.
0.
Yeah. So then it's because like I feel like the conversation gets to a way cooler place if you're open and honest about like, no, I don't know. So now I'm like way more prone to be like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because then odds are they'll launch into a conversation that you're like, oh, this is interesting. I learned something.
Yeah.
But as far as my relationship, I think, you know what? I love the honesty bit. I don't want to copy that, obviously. I think.
I mean, it's something that I believe is universally. I'm
sure.
not stealing that from you. You can be like that. And
Yeah.
then also.
So my thing was honesty, real original. No. I love check-ins. Like we do check-ins a lot. Like, and I'll just like randomly do like a check-in where, we'll. I'll just be like, so how are we doing? How are you feeling? How are we doing? Is there
as a whole, like
as a
not even
whole.
about a situation, like
yeah,
as a
no,
whole.
just
Yeah,
like
awesome.
randomly, if we're doing the dishes, I'll just be like, hey, are you happy? How are we doing?
Nice.
Is there anything I can improve on? Is there anything you feel like we're lacking or we can do better on together? And having those little check-ins, methinks having the check-ins. Gosh,
He's Maite.
having those frequently, I think helps us look at our relationship a little bit more honestly and critically, and keep some of those questions running. Like, okay, even if we hadn't had like an argument or something, am I happy? Is there something that we could improve on? It's nice. I feel like looking at it from a like, I don't know, I feel like I'm such a hopeless romantic where I want everything to be perfect and everything to, no one's ever upset. Everyone's happy. It's, 100% all the time. And it's really not like that. So I think even in the times when it's good and when it's bad, getting that check-in to be like, hey, how are we doing? What do we like? What do we not like? What can we adjust on? Has helped me keep my relationship healthy. And us both happy for the most part, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I feel like in my head it looks kind of like a flashlight. Like both of you are holding a flashlight and you start shining it on the other person. Because we forget. Like that's why my thing was like the honesty with. My thing was I was like you turn. Oh, stupid. As I said before, like it starts with honesty yourself, right? And like we're so many of us are not in the habit of introspection, right? So it's amazing that you use your partner like as this tool for one another to be like, hey, like, can you look into yourself right now? Are you good with everything? Because so often we just tend to let things slip that actually upset us. And it brings me to a point. We have a keyword for when there's emotions about to come out, like for that honesty part. It means whatever I'm about to say are my feelings. I want you to know them. You don't need to do anything about them. I don't want you to be hurt by them. It's just what I'm feeling right now, and it's something I'm going to be working on. And if you want to help me or can in any way, amazing. So it's literally like a green light, and I get to say anything. Stupid bitch.
Yeah. This food fucking sucks.
No, but it kind of sets the tone for this is going to be a vulnerable conversation, and I need you in a way to handle me with care because I see that this is something that's upsetting to me, but I right now don't know how to handle it. So I'm sharing it so you know, and then we can circle back to it or resolve it in the moment. So that's
I love that.
yeah, it's fun. I've actually implemented since learning from this now. I've implemented that with my mom.
Really?
Yeah, where it's like with my mom, it's called green zone, where it's like where it's like what I'm about to say, like think about like we don't stop, we just support. We don't feel attacked. We don't feel pushed into a corner. And the funny thing is, oftentimes it'll cause the other person to do the same thing. I'm sharing my feelings, then they're feeling something, so then they'll be like, the other person, Clara or my mom.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the reason why Clara and I are so adept at conflict resolution is because I'm telling you how I'm feeling. I then see what that's doing within you. So we know what we're dealing with. We just see that it's you and me versus if that's unspoken, all of a sudden I'm getting a little passive aggressive towards you, which then pisses you off because you might think that this is, and that that's your, like, you nip it in the bud before it even becomes a thing, which I think is so fun.
I think it's great too because you can use that like you just demonstrated, not only in a romantic relationship, but also with like family and friends. You know, I feel like even like, you know, guys to guys, men to men, like,
yeah, fuck yeah.
or, you know, intersex relationships, like you can, having that gateway to honesty and being able to say, okay, look, you might not gel with this or you might have your own opinions, but I want you to just know this is how I'm feeling. Let's move forward with grace.
Yeah.
I think it really opens the door to a deeper relationship regardless of who you're talking to or sharing these with.
Yeah, dude, and I wish we could just have that with everyone. So there's a situation in my life right now where this person, and I'm friendly with her, I like her, she's a sweet person, but she's one of my best friend's sister's friend, was stranded in New York at some point, and he's like, yo, she doesn't have a place to sleep, can she like crash with you? I'm like, no pressure. I'm like, absolutely, fucking come through.
Yeah.
It was just when I started dating Clara. So she came through in a second bedroom, sweet, had a nice time, but she overstayed her welcome a bit. Like I thought like crashing for it. I think she was there for like 4 nights or something.
Okay.
To the point where like she said, I'm leaving on Saturday, and then we had to kick her out at like 9 p.m. Like kind of like let her know that. And also was just, she was very, very verbally grateful. She was like, and she, you know, she had so much love to give. Like it was, she's a wonderful person, but she literally, we paid for the dinner that she like had some of, and like she didn't even offer to pay. I'm like, you're literally staying here for free, and like, not that it's about the money. Like I appreciate you being verbally grateful, but there was just no action that showed that, which we kind of put in the past. Ironically, talked about it like 2 days ago, and yesterday I got a text message from her, being like, "Oh,
what's your Venmo?"
No, my God, I fucking wish. It's like, no, I'm coming back to New York. Can I stay with you guys?
Oh.
And I haven't even told Clara about this yet. So what I want to say is like, genuinely like you as a person. You're a great person, but that didn't feel right, right? It felt like you could have done more. So I'm hesitant to invite you again into our home, which is a very, like, I can say it to you, and it should both to my ears and yours sound, and hopefully to everybody listening, sound very like a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
Yet, all I can think is like, shit, if I say that, they're gonna feel so bad, right? Like, and do you know what I mean? Like, isn't that a weird thing?
That's a tough scenario.
But if we had a green zone, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, please don't be upset about this, or like, even if you are, I hope that you can differentiate it, because that's just how I'm feeling. But I just didn't feel treated respectfully. Isn't that a?
I like that. I think if more people implemented like that green zone kind of open conversation,
attitude,
it would be a way better. Like you could be way more honest with people. Like this situation especially, I think is a great example of how if you were able, without the fear of judgment or someone acting irrationally, or even like you said, like disconnecting their own feelings from yours. Like, look, you can feel whatever you want about what I'm gonna say. That is, you know, that's just how it's gonna be. I think it would make for such easier, or not easier, just better, deeper relationships and conflict resolution.
Damn, the people-pleasing tendencies that you and I share, though. Like, I'm literally like, I just don't want to hurt you. I know it's not my responsibility. If anything, my responsibility is to choose the honest path. Stay tuned. Next episode, I'm going to let you know what I ended up doing. And I don't want to be the person that just ghosts her. Yeah. That to me is the worst option, right?
Could you also just say, like, it's not going to work? Like, you can't?
Like a white lie? Because it can't. Literally, we're going to be on vacay. The crib's going to be empty.
I would say you're not comfortable with someone in your house.
Fair, well, especially when we're not there. Fair, and I can, but then still, I feel like I'm missing an opportunity to choose honesty. I feel like that's something where I could use that and grow with it, because if I can do it in this circumstance, I can learn to do it in the next and the next and the next as situations get harder.
Maybe you do that. Maybe this is
like that's what I'm saying.
Maybe we take this as a case study, and you be honest, and we see what happens.
Oh, cool.
And the next episode, you're like, well, that was bad. She did not react well. Or
she's like, oh my
she was
God,
so
sorry.
great.
Yeah.
She offered to, cover whatever, and she left in a timely manner, and I feel so much better, and I think I'd be happy to have her again. You don't know what's going to happen.
You just don't know. And why? Like, I'm an optimist in every other part in life. Why shouldn't I be one there?
Right. But I don't think no one can fault you for your honesty. You know, I think it
Ideally
depends,
not. Yeah.
It depends on the delivery. Like, honestly, you don't want to be like super like.
No, of course not. Literally in the same tone.
There's a tactful way to be honest
Exactly.
and caring.
Yeah.
Without like attacking somebody or being overly, like.
Yeah.
Blah,
No, but
blah.
like I gotta defend what, like I gotta set my boundaries, and
Yeah,
that's
to
something I had a
keep your
huge issue
peace.
with.
Like make sure that
Yeah,
you
interesting.
can
Okay.
get that off your chest. I don't think it's unreasonable at all.
Can you think of a situation like that you've gone through?
Oh man,
I'm trying to think of like something that we talked about where
I mean-
you shared something like that. You know what I mean? But
it's something I'm still working on. I think what you said about you implementing the green zone with your mom is something that I really want to implement with I think my own mom. I have such a tough time. Like we're very similar, but I do notice that if I've started like just coming out and being like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna say whatever I want, and like that's
see
just
how it
we'll
goes,
see
yeah.
how it goes. But I do notice that a lot of times it does feel like if I'm honest and open and like just saying, I am met often with like a lot of judgment, or it becomes like a cautionary tale. You shouldn't do that because
Right.
this is why and this is why and this is why and this. So I think having I don't know, I feel like that's made me kind of clam up a little bit and like hesitant to share things about myself with my mom. But
how do you feel about her potentially hearing this on the podcast?
I thought about that and I was like, I shouldn't talk about that. And I was like, you know what? If I would
It'll lead to-
I would love to be able to be 100% myself and honest and open with my mom.
Hell yeah.
And it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
I love her more than like anyone. She's my mother. I love her. I wish we had a better open communication in our relationship.
Dude, hell yeah.
So if she hears this, and I would love to. That's something I would love to work on. I think the green zone is a great thing to just ask her about and see if she'd be open to that, because that's I love that idea.
Dude, I will prep you a little bit. So when I did do this with my mom, I shared some shit with her of like how I felt, and like ironically, she's been the person I've talked to. She's the one who taught me to be introspective, to look at my feelings and to communicate them, but in her very own process. And as I've grown up and like I've taken what she gave me and I've made it my own, and it's looking different now, right? It's a similar essence, but I told her like one thing that I felt is she gave me a little bit of a negative connotation to feelings, like strong feelings, anger, sadness. Like, don't, like, you can feel it, but don't ever let it out at people. Always sort it out with yourself first, and then you can have the conversation. And I told her, like, look, I feel like you saying that kind of traumatized me, because now I've learned that whatever I'm feeling, I'd rather share it right away without making the other person feel responsible for it. But they're like, hey, what you just did doesn't sit right with me. I know that's like, I just want you to know this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling angry. Doesn't mean I'm putting you down or doing anything. It's just, this is me, what I'm feeling right now. And that's something I never experienced, because I was always like, shit, I got to sort this out by myself. So I told her this. I was like, literally like, with your best intentions, you kind of traumatized me as part of the green zone thing. And she literally started crying. Like, it hurt her, because like my mom has given up everything for me. She's a single mom, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Raised me by herself, worked and did all of that. And then to hear, like, to put myself in her shoes now, to hear like, I've done all of that, and then you're still ungrateful. I still hurt you. I still did things wrong. I completely get that. And that's why I said, like, my green zone led to her green zone, and that was tough. Like, she didn't quite let on how hard that hit her. And so we had a conversation a couple days later and talked about it, and then she kind of healed from it and got it. And since then, dude, it's been wonderful. I'm so excited. I will by the time this episode is out, I will actually be leaving back from Germany today.
Nice.
And I was back home as well. Like, it's just, I can be around her for prolonged times now, where it's like, I don't get agitated, she doesn't get agitated anymore. We accept each other for who we are, and we can say when it's too much or not enough without any judgment, because that like big thing, that big knot is just like released, and that's, yeah, it's really cool. So like, I'm just trying to brace you for the potential.
I welcome it, man.
Yeah, man, you
I
gotta
really
walk
do.
through
I
the
feel
storm,
like,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
The buffalo move.
Absolutely. Like, I think that that's beautiful. Like, I think I would love to have that deeper connection and relationship and ability to share. And not even with just my, like, with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I love that green zone idea, dude. I think that might be the title of the episode. It's just green zone. I think that's.
Well, nobody will know what the fuck that means. So.
Well, you gotta dive in. You just gotta listen. You know.
Screens
I
on and
love
up
that.
above.
Dude. That's like. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Of
like. That's
course.
really.
Thank you for sharing.
I love that.
And thank you, Daniel's mom, for making a cool ass son. Yeah, right. All right, cool. So let's get the spirits lifted a little bit. You have we had this idea for a segment that we kind of could wrap up with, and the segment is called High Questions, Sober Answers. Right now, believe it or not, we are sober.
Yeah. Well, I know it's tough. Well, I mean, we're about 14 coffees in, but sober-ish.
Sober-ish, but as you presumably know, as one doth know, when you're high, you tend to have very elaborate questions, and we like to tackle some of these sober. And I believe you've prepped some.
I do have a question.
Okay.
All right. Let's say hypothetically you lived in a world where superheroes, supervillains, like that's all real, right?
Uh-huh.
Who do you think, or which hero, villain, whatever, would be the most terrifying to be alive on the planet? Like one that you'd be like
superhero or the supervillain? Like which one are you afraid of? Like
which one? Oh, you know what? All right, let's cut the villains. All the heroes. If you knew somewhere on the planet
there's this dude that can do that,
walking around that can do this, I am like terrified. I mean, doesn't even matter if they're like I'm good. I want to help humanity. You're like fucking dude.
Have you seen The Boys?
Oh yeah.
So now I just don't trust any superhero anymore in the real world setting.
True.
I'm like your Homelander. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like
the ones like think of like all your classic heroes and stuff. Who would be the most terrifying?
It's gotta be the Hulk, right?
Ooh.
It's gotta be the Hulk. The dude looks like a normal ass person walking down the street. Like, imagine you go shopping. You're in Todd Snyder, and like the dude next to you is like shopping for a coat, and then
what do you mean you only have mediums?
Yeah, that's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
But he's also like he's a weird superhero. Like he's right, like because he's like a villainous superhero in a way. Like it's there's like a lack of control. Right? Like it's not like a.
Well,
I mean,
that's
Superman.
That's how he gets into his state. Is like he like loses his mind.
Exactly. So that's like it's like a Jekyll and Hyde. I feel like that's an easy answer because he's like a superhero.
It's a good answer. I didn't
think so?
I didn't think Hulk. Yeah, I'm not even.
Maybe
sure
I'm just smarter than you.
No.
What would have your answer been?
Jeez.
I would. This is a side note. I would love to live in a world where One Punch Man existed.
Oh, dude, so sick.
Just like with daily fucking villains like that literally will eat the world, and he's like, no, one punch is all I need.
I feel like I don't know. Superman would be pretty terrifying, but they kind of like is like the Boys' Homelander because it's like an invincible guy who walks around with like laser vision, can fly, super strength, crazy speed, like. Dude, just like a silver bullet to humanity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that would be, and you're like, how do you stop something like that?
I mean,
a rock
keep
from
him
another
real happy,
planet.
man. You keep him real happy. But that's some world
Like-
domination shit. Like honestly, if there was a single person that had any of these abilities, it really just fucking. And mine is Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, cool, I shoot webs. Like,
But even if that guy existed, I'd be fucking terrified.
would you?
Yes.
I mean, you can crawl up a fucking wall, I guess. But like, I mean, I'm afraid
just
of
like
spiders.
the
so like,
ability, I don't know. Just like any, like
I think if there's just one super, because like that's the beauty of both the DC and the Marvel universe. Like
Yeah.
there's a bunch, so they kind of keep each other in check. The Boys didn't work out that way.
At all.
But if there's just one person that had all of this, like literally, we'd all bow down to him.
Yeah.
Like it would just be like that. He would be world dominance. Like I'm the king of this planet
world,
now.
yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like I will eliminate all of you. Like you don't even have a choice. He's so powerful.
yeah. You just have to hope that they're good. Like, please help us. It's like, no.
You're like, just a huge dick. But both literally and metaphorically.
He's got to have a massive
dick.
Superman's got a hammer on him.
And it probably rolls it in like he can retract.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dwight Schrute. Can like just pull it back.
Cranking a wheel.
Well, that's once again I think we can end on a dick.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. And on a pee-pee joke.
No, today was really fun.
That was good. That was solid.
We already.
Yeah, it's always a debrief. How did we do today?
We did
I think
all
that
right.
was good. I think people will like
I think
that
it was
one.
good.
Oh, dude, thanks for sharing. That was.
No,
I really like the ideas.
I think we got to a really cool place, like a real honest place today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, thanks for
Bye.
watching.
Thanks for watching. We love you. This is episode 2. Next week will be in episode 3.
3, as numbers work.
Okay. Bye and love you.
See you guys.
Yeah, man.
I felt good about that.
Yeah, that's
I like. We got a little honest and vulnerable
soft
there.
finish, but You know, sometimes you just don't.
Sometimes the finish is
Sometimes-
soft.
Sometimes you don't come in the end.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you got to put it away, sticky as it is.
Or not even sticky. So like, yeah, well, that's not happening
It's
today.
not happening. Yeah, but weirdly, I think we came once, and then the second time we didn't come.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, it's not blue ball. You know what I mean?
That's good.
right?
Yeah. We were like, I got there the first time, it was great, and then you like try it again, you're like, it was good, but we'll should order some food.